Last word on this legislation goes to Jason Gerhard, who I believe was the author of the bill that we heard last year. So welcome back, the Honorable Jason Gerhard.
Thank you, but I wish there was a policy you could choose if you have the honorable title or not. I just find that kind of weird nobility kind of thing. But I appreciate that. No offense to you. Jason Gerhard out of Northfield. And I just wanted to come in today. I left for work. That's why I'm kind of dressed as I am. But I work outside, so I build houses up on Squam Lake in Winnipesaukee, and it's very beautiful up there. I think it's nice being up in the mountains. And I'm outside all day long. I mean, that's what I'm on a roof or doing whatever. So I don't want to say that my personal experience is greater than your expertise. Everybody in this room is definitely smarter than I am. But at the same time, when you see these condensation trails coming out of these airplanes that behave differently, as the much better verse speaker before me mentioned, you're required to believe essentially the government bureaucrats, and as we found out through recent releases through the whole Doge thing, paid, media sources on the narrative that we're currently experiencing. And I just find that highly problematic in the fact that we have these committees set up through the State House. And as a state representative, you are the oversight for the rest of the government, but also you're a check on the federal government. We're not just supposed to be, formally, but it's not just a rubber stamp kind of a gig. This is actually a pretty serious endeavor. And I just think when you have this many people who are willing to take off their time from work, living, so forth, and I understand you guys are here, but that's a different story. You get $100. But we need to really take it seriously and wonder what's going on. And is it worth my time to, and as I can say, at least for myself and many people here, if any one of you on the committee said, I want some evidence on this, this, and this, or I want you to show me, people would bend over backwards. We got a guy willing to give out blood samples, which sounded a little crazy, but I mean, it's really, it's really indicative of the way that New Hampshire is, where people care about each other, and I think that's what this comes down to. We had the government just sidetrack, but I'm coming back. We had the government tell us that fluoride was the best thing ever. Now we know it's basically retarding children's educational opportunities. I mean, that's a serious thing. And it took a long time. And I know multiple bills came through and got shot down in that period of time. Not blaming you guys, but just saying that I just worry where we're on this whole, well, we'll wait till we know for sure that this is going on. I mean, we have Operation Large Area Coverage. In 1957-58 by the U.S. Army Chemical Corps, they involved spraying large areas, this is from Wikipedia, zinc cadmium sulfide over cities, including St. Louis got hit really bad. And it came out in the news around a decade ago. They were looking into it again, and they're saying if it's radioactive as well. But the point being is we have a government that will experiment on us. It's basically a fact at this point. So I believe that you, as another element of government, but closer to me, should investigate this seriously, reach out to people who are much smarter than I am, and maybe even smarter than the people in this room, and find out what's going on, because we're suffering here. We're suffering here, and I think people are actually literally dying from storms that are being manipulated. We could talk about Project Cirrus back in the 50s, where they seeded a hurricane off the coast of North Carolina. Well, it was in North Carolina. Anyway, it made a hook back into mainland, caused a bunch of damage and death. Army denied it for a long time, finally admitted it. And yeah, we're getting into a weird place. I just wanted 2 quotes I'll read, and then I'll leave you guys alone. This is from President John F. Kennedy addressing the United Nations in 1961. We shall propose further cooperative efforts between all nations in weather prediction and eventually in weather control. 1961. They just haven't been sitting around. As you see, we waste billions of dollars on crazy things. So, second quote is, it lays the predicate and foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather. And he who controls the weather will control the world. That was Lyndon Baines Johnson at Southwest Texas State University in 1962. And if you guys get a chance, that video clip is really crazy, the way he has this really kind of Dr. Evil thing going on. It's really creepy. So anyway, I want to thank you for your time. And I really would encourage anybody, if you want to reach out to anybody here, I know most of the people here, you can contact me or them directly, and let's just look into this seriously. Tennessee made a step in the right direction, and I disagree with Kelly on this. I think there should be a penalty provision, even if it's $1, and I kind of get the concept. If you put a penalty provision in and you establish liability, the lawsuits will start flooding in. But that's the point. Courts are how we're supposed to handle our problems, not through mobs in the street and so forth. We should litigate these things, take experts from both sides and figure out what's going on. And I think that's what this really comes down to in a lot of ways is nobody wants to be caught liable for the harm. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I apologize for calling you honorable, but
I appreciate that.
I didn't intend to insult you by doing that. So no questions, I guess, for Mr. Gerhard. Well, that being the last pink card that I have,